All right, in your underlying energies, the Three of Wands. Underneath that, you have the Ace of Swords. So there is some definite truth, some sort of clarity, and now there's some sort of waiting or some sort of distance, and it's causing some sort of rift. Now, the distance isn't the problem, it's more of the waiting on a response that's the situation. And the reason why I say that is because this person is totally not communicating what's going on up top. Now, the reason why we'll get to in a moment, but this person here definitely is going through some serious trauma, some sort of loss. There's some pain that they're suffering, and they're not communicating it, right? They're going through this mentally. They're looking at what's been lost, what's been gone. The Two of Cups is still there. This Two of Cups is actually right here. But they're coming into the relationship, not to say that they're damaged goods, not to say that they're broken, but they've been hurt. And this is about healing that wound or shifting their focus to potential goodness rather than perpetuating the bad. Now, you guys, or perhaps the other person here, if this is you guys, the Seven of Cups is indicating that this person is having to figure out where they're going to go, what their heart's desire is, right? Taking in the options of the possibilities of something new coming in. Now, this kind of gives me the sense that this person may be feeling like this is a little bit too good to be true, kind of out the bat, but they're willing to go with it, right? Because they're going to kind of see and feel it out. But they're not necessarily deciding on anything because they don't necessarily know what they want, right? This is not necessarily a decision, right? They're having to pick. So there's a lot going on mentally with them as far as making a decision, but they're not solid or sold on any decision yet. They're kind of just browsing and looking around. Again, though, very similar stuff here. Even though this person is going through some pain, this person over here is looking at different opportunities, perhaps seeing this as a too good to be true situation. They're kind of waiting for something to kind of. It almost looks like they're waiting for some sort of truth, maybe some truth that'll cut through the BS. Perhaps even expecting some sort of commitment out of the blue, instead of actually taking action, because the Three of Wands, it is more of an and it's still action that's being done here. Doing work and focusing on what needs to be done in the meantime as you wait. But this is all about expectation. What does each person expect? Now, this person, you can already kind of assume what this individual is expecting based off of what they're thinking. They've experienced loss and they've always focusing on the loss. They're perpetuating the loss. They're expecting it. And this person over here, they're expecting to be duped. I mean, just be honest. Gemini, you're expecting to be duped here. And I don't think you will be. I really don't. Now, going further, you guys are showing yourself as the Knight of Wands. Very Sagittarian. Cool. Now, since Jupiter will be going into Sagittarius this week anyway, I think on Thursday, you guys are going to be really feeling your opposite energy big time, okay? And the moon's going to be crossing with it, so everybody's going to get a sense of what do I enjoy, what do I like, what do I believe in at the same time, right? So it's the philosopher that comes out of us now, especially the emotionals. We're looking at it in a very bigger picture sort of way, some of us anyway. But the thing is, aside from astrology, how you're showing yourself is light-hearted, not very serious in a sense, but not like you're not trying to show yourself as someone that's kind of a player. You're very open and honest about who you are and what you're doing. The Knight of Wands doesn't lie. He's not a liar. He doesn't play with people. He's experiencing things and going through and being in the moment. And he's doing what he enjoys as he goes along. This is being in the moment, enjoying where you are, and having a good time. Again, I feel like the Seven of Cups is like too good to be true energy. So there may be like, okay, well, all right, so I'll enjoy it as it kind of goes along. But when, of course, shit hits the fan, I'm not going to be too invested in it. That's kind of what I'm getting the sense of. But Seven of Pentacles can also indicate a fantasy, a dream, some sort of, illusion. And I feel like this is kind of you guys just going with the flow, or just kind of experiencing things as you go along, not really breaking the flow, not busting it, or not, just like moving too fast in it. Even though the Knight of Wands is one of the fastest knights, you guys are going with it, if that makes sense. You guys are because it's something that you enjoy. You're exploring and getting to know yourself a lot more. However, this other person here is becoming is very quiet. They're not saying a lot of anything. As a matter of fact, they're very hush-hush and very private. And whenever they're going through, this is kind of, they're cloaking it. Now, whatever they're experiencing, they feel is very personal. But the thing is too, they're very observant of you. They're very watchful of you. They're very, they're keeping an eye out, but at the same time, they're really holding, their attention really is split. It's almost like they're trying to keep an eye out and trying to get to know you, and at the same time trying to build trust, but they're so focused on keeping something a secret that they may not be getting the full information. Now, the high priestess, she knows everything. There's nothing that she doesn't know. There's always something that she will get from some situation. But the high priestess, being in the person's present right now, you don't necessarily see them as clearly as you're seeing them. You're showing yourself, even though you don't necessarily know what the hell's going on either. Like, let's be honest, right? The Seven of Cups could be that you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on. Like, you're just as confused as this person is showing you. Like, you don't know what to do with this person that's not trying to open up, that's not opening up to you at all. And it's not your fault. There's nothing you can do. You're just kind of riding the wave. You're showing your trust. You're communicating. You're being authentic. You're being transparent as much as you possibly can. And you feel kind of, like something's missing. You're trying to look closer. And I feel like you're trying to piece things together, which is why I got that sort of like too good to be true energy. It's like this person may be very intuitive, very insightful, and very good at picking up details. But again, they're cloaking something that makes you, and it's something you can just sense it. You could just know that somebody's hiding something. Again, though, I want you to reinforce, I'm not getting any sort of sense that they're trying to hide, they're cheating, or somebody's being, manipulative in any sort. They are protecting themselves. Like I said, we're going to get to that part in a minute. But the thing is, I feel like you guys are coming out to be very transparent. You guys are being very open. Now, please understand, right? This doesn't necessarily mean this has to be you. This could be you here as well. But again, somebody's being more transparent and more open than this person is, than this person is. And I think it's because this person on this side here wants to show that this person can be trustworthy, even though they're not necessarily sure what the hell's going on. Why something's happening? There's a lot of conclusions. There's a lot of things going on. And I feel like at the same time, even though this person's not showing themselves, it's allowing them to figure out what the hell they want to have, what they want to do in the first place, right? That's why, figuring out what your dream is, what your heart's desire is, what your romantic, ideal relationship would be. Perhaps this is like trying to decide whether or not this is something you may want to pursue in, or, but there's no stability, right? This very moon energy when this card comes up. When the Seven of Cups comes up, it's very moony, because it's like you may have a lot of options that look very promising, but again, right, you don't necessarily know if it's going to get you to where the potential may be, right? You don't have any idea if something's going to lead to their potential. That's up to you. But moving forward, right? Moving forward, you have the Death card in your foundation, the Spirit. So you're leaving something behind. You're letting something go. And I feel like at the same time, you're opening to something new. And I feel like that's the thing. That sense of doubt from death is carrying over to the mental. But at the same time, the new opportunities, the new ideas, the new life that's coming from death is also coming here. So this is like your twin energy is definitely being picked up here, Gemini. So even though you kind of get this sense of, okay, this is maybe too good to be true, you still have a glimmer of hope. You still have that sun coming up in the background. You still see like a potential for something good out of all of these, which is why you're not necessarily giving up on all of these options yet, right? If this is giving up on something and not trusting something going altogether that, this is going to get you to happiness, it would be the Eight of Cups by now. No, this is a 7. So you have some sort of glimmer of hope and even a sense of possibility that something can actually get you to where you want, where it may make you happy, right? But you don't have all the information. You don't have all the facts, which is why you have the Knight of Wands here, Sagittarian energy, where you're trying to get the bigger picture. You're trying to get a bigger understanding. But you're also showing that you're transparent and open and willing to receive information without being judgmental. So the Knight of Wands is not a judgmental energy. As a matter of fact, he does not judge. And the fact is that the fact of the matter is that you just want this person to communicate with you so you can get the full story, so you can decide what it is that you truly want. Because right now things are a little too murky to make a decision. You're very airtight about it. You're not going to make a decision without the full facts, and that's fair enough. But the other individual is not too trusting. They have the moon as their foundation. Now, the reason why they're not trusting is because they have been backstabbed. They have a reason for this fear to be in their foundation. Where they're coming from is fear. it's confusion, it's uncertainty to the highest degree here. And it's because they've been into a situation in the past where they have been disappointed and saddened because of some sort of loss or something that's been missing from past situations, past relationships. There's a reason why the Two of Cups is behind them, because one, they don't recognize that there's a connection between you and this person that this person can trust and start to build something new based off of that, not from the fears, and also to even conquer those fears. But two, this is something from the past here. This is something behind them, right? This situation, when it comes to the Two of Cups in this relationship, they have gone through something so intense that they haven't been able to move forward from that. This relationship, the reason why it brings you guys together is because you guys, in a way, have come from very similar backgrounds. And even though you may not have been scarred to that same degree in that amount of tendency, you guys come from the same energy in the sense of having to release some things that's caused you guys to doubt in the first place. Even though you have a little bit more glimmer of hope here with that sun in the background, that is still your foundation. You're still moving on. You're still leaving something behind. You're still getting over past disappointments, past pains, things that made you believe in a certain way of behaving because it protected you for so long, and it's time to change that. Which is why you have doubts here. That's why you haven't made a decision about what it is that you want, or you haven't picked a cup yet, because you're still trying to figure out, is this real? And the same thing is going on with this individual here. Instead of seeing that this is a potential for something new, they're expecting the betrayal. They're expecting something out of the blue coming out. They're expecting whatever their fears are when it comes to trust. They don't trust anybody. And it's not their fault that they're like that, guys. So this is why I'm saying, they don't think this is about cheating or anything like that, because this is not about that. And the inner children is coming from, this is their inner children, their inner child, right? It's broken, it's hurt, it's got a really big scratch, and nobody's attended to them, put a bandage on it, tell them it's going to be okay, it's going to heal over time. Nobody's giving them that treatment, not even that person. But you coming together will help them heal themselves, rebuild this inner child, to kind of get that thing going, right? Where they can trust again, that they can have hope again, they can dream again. Because right now, everything's private. They're not giving much of themselves because they don't want to get too invested. And at the same time, right, you're not necessarily, you're having a good time. You're being transparent because you're kind of doing the same thing in a way too. You're not giving too much of yourself. So that way, if it is too good to be true and this person does disappear, you're not too invested in it because you're like, okay, well, I didn't expect it to go anywhere either. 7 of the 3 of Wands. Now, this is not an accusation or anything, or trying to be rude or anything like that, guys. So please understand that. This is about letting you guys know and seeing how you guys can progress and move forward to better yourself in the relationship that you got. We're recognizing that you guys are coming from the same story, the same troubles, the same pains, and in a certain degree. It may be different, but understanding where you're coming from will help you guys understand the behaviors and the mindsets that you have, and especially the person that you're dealing with, because you guys are mirroring each other with the Two of Wands, Two of Cups here. Not the Two of Wands, Two of Cups. Two of Cups is a mirroring effect for me. How I read it, it's a mirroring kind of energy. So you guys act the same. You guys feel the same. Is it too good to be true? Is it going to last? Am I going to lose this? So they keep themselves hidden. They may not say things, they may not open up about how they feel. They may crush or suppress certain emotions because they don't want to lose what they have with you. Or, they don't know if they can truly trust you, right? Same difference, really. But they don't realize that this Two of Cups is the potential of something new and something really beautiful that can manifest. And at the same time, this potential for, all these options is this relationship is a possibility that this can move forward in a beautiful way, but you're not sure either because this person's not opening up to you. And this is bringing triggers back up to, in a way, because you have had situations where you're trying to get over stuff, but this person right here is dredging up a lot of the reasons why you don't trust in the first place, why you haven't moved on, why you hold on to something that's not really not allowing you to grow in any direction. But it's at the same time, it is making you look at it. It's really making you see who you are now and why it's so important to shift, to change, to transition. So the challenge is communication and talking about how you feel, talking about, about what's going on internally, and then to cultivate a dream, to really have a dream, to really have something that's personal, something that you want, at least something small, something that you can aspire to, both of you, because this person here has had kind of their stuff ripped away from them, right? It's something that's been spilt, it's gone. It's something that they lost. They may be, they're focusing on what's lost. They're not building anything new. They're not creating something new. They're not creating a new dream. But this is to allow them to, this is allowing them to trust that their dreams, to trust their imagination, and trust that they can have this. But it is also healing the Page of Cups, healing their inner child too. This is both healing for the both of you, because death energy is very intense, just as intense as the moon and the high priestess together, and maybe not the same degree, right? But you going through something that needs healing too, and you're doing a really good job. You have an interesting attitude about it, but either way, you do need to heal. Just for yourself, this is forgiveness. This is for, leaving something behind so you can have a new life, so you can have a new opportunity. And this person has to look at their fears and, to acknowledge those fears and push through it so they can be able to have the Two of Cups that they know is behind them, or so they can shift their focus and recognize that there's a possibility for something great to happen with those Two Cups. Even acknowledge those Two of Cups in the first place. But they're too intensely involved with these Three Cups to recognize that there's something around them that can actually blossom. Again, that's not their fault. It's not their fault. It does require communication, and healing and compassion. That's the big thing, compassion, because you guys are both coming from very similar spots. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at your whispers of love here. I've rambled on for quite some time, so let me go ahead and get this started so I can let y'all go for the week. Oh wow, ask for help. Beautiful, guys. Ask for help. And it says, what is it that you really need help with? Be willing to allow yourself the support you need. And that's the thing with this individual. They may be holding their emotions in because they don't want to be seen as someone that's weak. They're very private about the things that they go through. And I feel like you're the same way. That's why you have a very lighthearted and playful energy about you. And you're protecting something too. You're hiding something too in a way. Even though you're very transparent and open, you tell people that your issues, I don't think you truly display them, because you're experiencing, you're gaining the information, you're being open. But you need just as much love and support, and even just as much love and support as this person does. I do think this person needs to ask, because they're more in the in a darker place than you are, because I think you're more optimistic about your life. You're more optimistic about the potential of something happening. But either way, showing that you support this person, showing that you're open, you've been doing that, and I think that's a great thing, right? With that Knight of Wands, I do think that you guys have been open and transparent about how you've been, how you feel, and that's going to open the door for them to even communicate. But you have to also allow patience and compassion, because they're going through something obviously very intense here. 2 major arcana cards, wow. And you know what? So are you. But the point of it all is that this person may need to be shown that they can be, you can be trusted, that people can be trusted, that they can trust again. But this is not your job as well, right? So I want to make that clear. Just because somebody is in a dark place doesn't mean it makes it your job to to get them out of it. You're their soulmate, and you are theirs. You're their soulmate, and they are yours. So wherever they come into your life for, you're meant to do your work with that. You do your work with them. But if they pass up the opportunity of help, they're going to get passed into another soulmate so they can get the help that they need. And that's okay, because you've done your part. That's the point. So focusing on you and doing the best that you can with what you have. And there's nothing wrong with it, especially if you love them. Like, you know, do the best that you can with what you got, because you have some things to heal in already. But don't let your whole focus be on them, because you forget the whole purpose of going through this soulmate journey together in the first place, soulmate lesson, which is trying to get this, you know, trying to open the door for you, open new opportunities and new things, and allow yourself to even dream. So you can have something to expect, and expect with full confidence that it will happen in the best way possible.